Foxy 2016 here, and I'd just like to put the content warning here,
All of his
instead of making
co-workers
its own
were
part
gone.
of the video.
What could
Just
it
gonna put it
mean?
here.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This ending, how do I explain it? What content warnings does it need? It's, I guess, kind of like derealization,
When
or
Stanley
what it's
came to a
called.
set of two open doors, he entered the door on his
But,
left.
disassociation, maybe? It's very much that. Whatever the right word is.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
So if
Feeling a
that's
wave of
not great
disbelief,
for you,
Stanley
then,
decided to go up to his boss's office,
there's also a broom
hoping
closet
he might
ending, but
find an
I'm not
answer
gonna do that
there.
one right now. I might come
Coming
back
to
to
a
that one later.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
But
boss's
yeah,
office.
just a warning before we get into it. Like, dissociation, I think it is. This realization, those are two separate things, but I think this might fall under both. Yeah, it's gonna get very much that.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
Yeah, see top
He
right.
considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post
Also, we're
during
in
work
a
hours.
loop
He
now.
might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
He's
Why
right.
did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers
tried to put my
were
controller down, I
actually
accidentally hit the
gone.
button.
He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled
like a horror
that he had
game
still not woken up.
with this.
How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it
Yeah, this is when
particularly
it kind of
strange.
starts.
I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please,
There it is.
someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Still going.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day.
Yeah.
Very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
So that was the end of the obeying paths. And, pretty, dark one there. And I think I'm gonna stop filming now and then pick this back up later. I might squeeze one more in, I'm not sure yet, but, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now. Wait, hold on, actually. Real quick, let's just see if we can get any of the
Stanley
dialogue.
decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others.
Just do this real
So
quick.
the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just restart the game any old time you want.
Well.
Like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What
Wow.
Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
Don't loop, please. the music's actually quite nice. I'm actually enjoying this. But yeah, alright. But I got in the video, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe we'll do another version of that if I'm looking to stretch out another video. But I'll see you guys later. Bye now.